So this is a very fun episode because we are, I think, 4 or 5 days out from our biggest wave event ever. I think I'm still processing it because, wow, that was an insane day on Friday. And I almost haven't slowed down yet to just really absorb all the wonderful feelings and emotions from having 80 women in a room. So, how are you feeling, Em?
Oh my goodness. I think the word that I used was I felt like I was floating out of the venue when you know that you're doing meaningful work in the world and all those little details and late night tasks, they make it so worth it when you see people laughing, smiling. I think I even saw some tears. And there's just this massive need right now for connection, especially with female entrepreneurs. So to bring that to life for 70 women was so, so special.
Yeah, it's so funny that you say like sometimes when you're in the details, because you and I, for months leading up to this, it was like emails, text messages, projects with checklists. And sometimes it does just feel like, whoa, this is just a lot of get this stuff done. But I think that's just such a reminder that when you pour your heart into anything, yes, it feels like hard work, but when you finally get to see the fruits of that labor, it's such a reminder of why we do the work that we do, right? Like, not
Yes.
every day is glamorous. Not every day is being out at the event dressed up with 80 amazing women. And there were hard times leading up, but it's truly all worth it. And I think that's why it's so important to just stay so connected to the vision, because otherwise it's like, I don't want to just do tasks every day, but that is required to build this incredible experience.
Yes, you and I talk about that a lot, how you have to stay anchored in your why when the craziness of life and entrepreneurship hits, because it's like, oh, did I sign up to be editing an agenda 7 times? No. Did I sign up to leave an impact with women and just make them feel good again, make them feel confident again, make them feel seen? Okay, I signed up for that. And that comes with agenda preparation.
So you and I think, are just gonna basically ask each other questions because I know
Yeah.
that some of the most interesting podcasts to listen to are after a big event, the real talk of what actually happened behind the scenes and what went wrong or what went right. And I know that so many of our listeners probably host events or they want to host events. So hopefully this can be insightful to them.
Okay, let's kick off, Kels. How did you resource yourself leading up to such a big day?
This is such a good question, especially like looking back retroactively. I'm kind of like, oh, there were so many areas that, especially in the 7 days leading up to the event, where I just dropped the ball on going to the gym. I dropped the ball on making great meals. I was up later than I wanted to be on my devices. But on the other side of that, since we have planned events before, I know that as the date approaches, there are so many last minute things, and it's just demanding in the 7 to 14 days before. So I think it was the Sunday before our event. My husband and I will usually like connect on weekends and be like, "What's your week looking like?" But we had like a longer conversation around, "Hey, I'm probably not going to be around much this week."
Mhm.
Um, Asking for help with things like drop-offs and pickups that he doesn't always do, asking for more help with walking our dog, which is something I love to do, but I knew that it would fall off my plate if I had a busy day. So really leaning into like open communication around this might not be my week to be super mom because I'm in total event planning mode. So that was one thing that like I would highly recommend to anyone who's living or got a life with someone else who can step in to help. Don't be afraid to just like have a really real conversation around, I don't know that I'll be able to do XYZ tasks like I normally do, and ask for their help. And just kind of go into the week with a plan so that you can focus your full energy on the event coming up. And then I would say one other way that I resourced myself in just feeling supported was, and this is kind of your work, but was like a lot of mindset work around showing up present for the day is more
Mhm.
important than having everything go perfect. Because in the
Yes.
days leading up, I was like, I can see that things are going to go wrong. Like, you and I are not perfect event planners at this
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah.
We throw really badass, amazing events, but we're mamas, we run businesses, we have a lot of other stuff. So I kind of just was seeing that, yeah, there might be a few things that we just have to workshop on the day. And I think giving myself that self-coaching of, honestly, that stuff is fine. Like nothing is life or death in this situation.
So good.
And if you can simply remind yourself that you
Mhm.
having your energetic presence that day is more important than being like, oh my God, we're 3 minutes behind. In my opinion, that's a way to resource yourself to really go into event week feeling like it's all good. You're here to
I
have
love
fun,
that.
guys.
I love how you took the pressure off because it's a similar philosophy to your own wedding day. It's like if you're so caught up in it being perfect, you're going to miss out on the best day of your whole life. So take the pressure off. You're there for the people. Nobody cares if there's like a little period typo on a form. It's all good. So I love that you took the pressure off. That's a killer mindset philosophy.
I actually just realized there's a typo in our Wave Instagram bio because we updated it the week before the event. So hopefully by the time this airs, that'll be fixed. But it's one of those things that it's like, hey, that's okay. Not life or death.
Love that.
Okay, question for you. So we have continued to grow these events from 10 women to 30 to 50 to 70 to 80. What were some of the major level ups or just areas where we just went a little bit stronger from this
Yeah.
event compared to past events?
Our biggest up level was that we asked for more help. And we might have even doubted it for a second, like, oh, did we invite too many cooks in the kitchen? But when we arrived and just saw things being built and moving without our actual hands on it, I think we sighed a bit more of relief and we got to zoom out and look at the big picture again without like little clothes peg problems. So I think asking for more help now is more critical. And I think there is an energetic exhale when you ask for more help. So I think that was a pretty big one. And I think you and I both felt that.
Mhm.
And then I would say that I'm proud of us because this time we decided to showcase ourselves. So before we just we didn't take up a lot of space per se. We let other people take the stage. And it was actually with encouragement from our community that people said, hey, we want to hear from you guys. So this time we did pre-submitted questions. What would you love to know about marketing and mindset? And we got to go on the stage and talk about some of our zones of genius, imposter syndrome, not feeling like enough. With Kelsey, a lot of like how to hold it all, scheduling, staying on top of everything. So I think that was really cool to step into that energy. And if we are teaching other women to take up more space, we need to be taking up more space. So I would say that was the big one.
So true. And one other piece of feedback I heard as people walked into the room, I could tell that generally, in terms of decorating the venue, we took up more space with like our branding and touch points. And a few people just commented, like, whoa, you guys have really grown this, or whatever word they used. I think they saw all the
Yes.
vendor tables and balloons and just activations with the wave branding that they were like, we didn't see this last year. So that
Yes.
was kind of cool to just put a little more intention into showcasing the brand that we've built and not being so humble and just like slapping a tiny logo on a piece of paper.
Very cool. I love that. So, Kels, did you ever have a moment of thinking, who am I to host these events?
Um, hmm. I think the answer is no. because and this is going to be so different for everyone, but I've always loved to gather people.
Mm,
And whether that's five girlfriends on my back deck where I just bake some muffins and make coffees for everybody, or like gathering people who share a similar sports interest that I do. And I've kind of noticed over time that there are people who really don't want to open up their home or their hobbies to gathering. But then there are those of us who are like, oh, how cool is it that we could like all
yeah.
get together? So even though I didn't imagine it growing to 80 women, that was never really on my vision board per se. But as you and I got started with smaller events, and I had come from an events background, I kind of realized, oh, there's not a lot of people who want to actually organize this. And even a bunch of people on Friday, they were like, how did you guys do this? Like they were just in awe. And some women
Mm,
said, I could never, or I would not. And I'm like, you're right. Like, and I wouldn't want to do a lot of the amazing projects that you pour into because it's just not.
100%.
Yeah. So the thought never has crossed my mind because I truly find it a joy and almost energy giving. Like, although it can
Mm.
be tiring, but it's energy giving in the long term to host events and curate these rooms.
I love that you say that it's just natural for you to gather people. And when you are dialed into your natural gifts, there's a level of ease that comes about. So I love your stories about the muffins, about gathering the hungover people in university to go to the spin class. I think these are very good stories that explain why you love this and why you're good at this.
And I think it's testament that we can all kind of like study our past and just our patterns. And, maybe you're the person who loves to like create online community around crocheting or something. And, there's just no right or wrong answer towards what your business blueprint should look like or your life blueprint. But I think you can get some nudges around, oh, I really liked like being a barista at this last job, which means that I, am skilled at communication or
Yes,
whatever. So never discounting the past. Okay,
beautiful.
next question. I'm going to skip ahead. I'm curious, what were some of the highlights for you, either for yourself personally or maybe things you heard from others that they really enjoyed?
Yeah, I think the highlight is for just this feeling when women feel really seen. I think we kind of hide behind our computers and, we get our admin tests done, we deliver the coaching call, and then you go and you cook your dinner and you go to bed. And sometimes we don't have this mirror every day of, oh, wow, someone just noticed my natural gifts, my genius, the impact I'm making in the world. And as you look at the breakout rooms, you can see these aha moments where it's like, you do that? You created that? And it's almost returning to a sense of wonder. Whereas when we're just in the hustle of every day, our work can feel robotic or detached. So, having women show up and be seen, and the mirror is held, and their gifts and genius is being, you know, amplified is the best feeling in the whole world. So, that was my highlight. Looking around, seeing people's eyes light up, the freshness of looking at someone's business. It's like, well, have you considered this, or this? Because when we're too close to our businesses, sometimes we get stuck in a rut. So,
Mm.
hands down, that's my highlight. What's your highlight, Kels?
Hmm. I think my highlight was the amount of people who said there's just a different feeling at events that we curate.
Mm,
And it's really hard to even explain that. But I think for a lot of us, we've been to many events. We've been to events where we leave feeling on top of the world, or to use your word, floating. And then there's some events where we actually leave feeling more disconnected, more
mm,
lonely because we were just in a room of 100 people and we didn't make one deep connection. And I
mm,
think even going back to the origins of how we started Wave Live events, it was
mm,
never about us getting on a big platform, speaking down at people, saying, we're the authorities, we're the experts, we know
yeah.
everything. It was
Mm,
always about sitting shoulder to shoulder with women and just like being very genuine, down to earth, sharing highs and lows, and also doing business with each other
Cool.
because everyone's kind of on that same page, but without that forced, like, give me your business card and like that really networky kind of vibe. And it's cool because as we've grown the events, we have really tried to incorporate that same level of 10 women intimacy that we started with, but even into bigger events now. And I think we were worried, how do you grow but still
Hmm.
maintain the soul? And I think some of my favorite parts, not only were hearing that women felt that like down to earth, grounded connection and walked away with 20 deep connections,
Hmm.
um, but also hearing that the breakout portion where we actually choose small groups for everybody to go into, you get to
Hmm.
meet a set of women, you get to go on to another group and meet another set of women, that was actually some of the most impactful for our attendees because they got to go deep, not surface.
Hmm.
They felt like they were introduced to the right people. We
Hmm.
saw a business partnership come out of it,
Yes.
two business owners who already decided to launch a product together and just heard about like the way those types of small activations made the more introverted people feel like they could open up, breathe a sigh of relief, walk away
Hmm.
with new friendships, and feel like they were able to share who they really were without feeling intimidated by a big room. So yeah, I think my favorite
Hmm.
part was just hearing about the soulful connections people got to make and how they don't often get that at other events.
Yeah, the amount of times we heard, I've never been to anything like this. And there's almost this example that ego is taking the forefront of events versus heart-centeredness.
Yeah.
And when you really think about it, if you leave with a stack of 45 new business cards, are you even going to remember anyone? Whereas if it's a little deeper, more authentic, you're going to remember everyone you came encounter with. So I think that's a really great example.
Mhm.
Um, I want to know, did anything go wrong? Any funny stories to share?
Well, the most glaringly obvious one was that about a month before the event actually came to fruition, I had a event details meeting at the venue, and they're like, by the way, the entire town is going to be ripped up during the day of your event. And I was like, wait, what date? And can you reread that? Can you call the city and delay the construction?
Oh my gosh.
And we had to laugh that one off because of course there's nothing you can do and really nobody
Mhm.
cared. And it was just one of those funny moments where you're like, oh, we're bringing 80 women to a beautiful riverside venue, but the entire town is going to be in shambles. So, there's a funny one to laugh off. However, I did spin it in my mind. I'm like that now more than ever, we need to support these small businesses because
Yeah.
nobody can even access them. So it was actually a beautiful blessing to bring such a amazing supportive group to Paris, Ontario. But in terms of like what went wrong, I would say honestly, it was always the tiniest things that you and I could laugh off. And I think
Hmm.
that that is so appreciated in a business partner because like we could have made a stink about we had a big agenda glitch. And one of our speakers thought she was going to be speaking at a certain time because of the email that I sent out. And it just wasn't communicated. And it's in moments like that where it's just like we could stress and apologize and pause all programming and make everybody wait, or just kind of roll with it and realize that these types of things, they don't actually impact people's experience as much as maybe we think they would.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you include people in the conversation, like, oops, this just happened, and we're just going to take 22 seconds to get back on track here. People actually said that made you guys seem so authentic and real. And I'm like, that's because we were. We had to. Like, there was no other way to be.
Oh
So
my
yeah, nothing crazy went wrong. And I think the things that did go wrong, we just laughed it off and made it part of the joke.
And it's funny perspective in life because we're like, oh no, construction, end of the world. And then our little kids, the morning after the event, were like, yay, let's go look at the machines. It's like,
Yep.
okay, We just need to take a lesson from little kids and cheer for construction.
Totally. Oh, and going back to, because you just mentioned the kids. So, one of my favorite parts of the event was when our kids ran in at the very end. They were with Blake and Dave, and they got to see what we created. I
Yeah.
could just see it in all of their eyes, just like, whoa. And they're running on the balcony, looking at the water, touching the balloons. It was very special to share that
Oh,
moment with our
yeah.
families, not just our business besties.
I read something really cool this week, and it was basically saying, Mom, am I gonna hold back your business because you had me, because you had kids? And then the mom responds and says, No, honey, I'm gonna grow my dreams with you beside me. And I don't know if anyone knows this, but Koa and Summer hand stuffed every swag bag. Like they put in the kombucha, they put in the candle, and they took so much pride out of it. So I just thought that was a cool angle to like grow your dreams as you grow your children.
That might make me cry. Pause for a tear break. That's beautiful though. And I think that, we can get caught up in this mentality of like, keep it all separate and don't, let the kids do this. But it's like, no, no, we want them to be seeing mama in action because that's the most magical part.
I love that so much.
Okay, so now that we're 5 days out from the event, I'm curious, do you have any post-event crash? Are you still on a high? Were you on a high and then it came, shooting downwards? And how long did that take? Because I think so often after big events, there's a moment of, oh my God, now what do I do with my time? So how did you feel?
I think I come out of the events with, oh my gosh, I need to be alone for a day to just kind of be in my own body. So yes, I definitely crash. I need a few days to just be by myself, process all of those beautiful interactions. And when it comes to just kind of the funny things you and I talked about, is you and I, the week before the event, we were better by the time the event happened, but we both were sick. So I think I just had this existential thought that there's no perfect time for anything, and you
Oh.
just kind of have to do it. You have to do the hard days, and you have to just remind yourself this is temporary. I can get through this because when we put on the books a big event, you're like, what do I do to stay well? How do we make sure the kids are well? And then we're both messaging each other, being like, I don't feel great. I think the bigger lesson about energy and just showing up is there's never going to be the perfect time and you will handle it. So that's what I came out of this one was because you and I have both like it's never happened before that we've both been sick and we figured it out and we laughed. And was it easy? No, but we figured it out.
I bet any mama entrepreneur or just mom in general is laughing because it's like those sicknesses, like you could literally be like washing your hands 9 million times in a day and they just run through the house. You have no idea where they came from. And it's like, are you kidding me? But you're right. Like, there's no perfect time. And, you still have to live your life. But yeah, we can navigate the sleepless nights, the sickness. And thank goodness we both made our full recoveries before last Friday.
So lots of life lessons coming through event planning.
Hmm.
Okay, Kels, I believe we're on our final question here. Would you share what changes people can expect at future events and or any final integrations you want to share from last Friday?
Well, I think that something that we're so excited to be doing is starting to play around with more pop-up micro events in between our bigger events.
Mhm.
I think we're pretty committed to staying with our two big events per year. That'll kind of be the usual moving forward. And we kind of have heard that these communities in smaller versions are just so special.
Mhm.
So we are really excited to be making changes to just wave overall in terms of the amount of touch points that people can have in real life. So people can expect a lot more invites to cool towns around Ontario to come hang out with your wave besties. And I think, one lesson that we're carrying forward in just how to continue improving these events is to keep looking for those ways to make it feel intimate, to make it feel accessible for the introvert and the extrovert, and to never lose the magic of what Wave is, which is a very grounded, down to earth, smart, ambitious group of women, and to really protect that culture at all costs, even if that means keeping it at 80 women for the rest of our life.
Beautiful. So well put.
What about you?
Mm. I love thinking about potential, that there's so many communities out there we haven't even met yet. And just, if we get to impact a million female entrepreneurs' lives by putting a microphone and saying, this is what they do.
Yep.
I just think that that's the biggest honor of all time. So I think as we set our sights on the future, whether it's Prince Edward County or I know so many different locations have come up, Ottawa, BC. It is just an honor, privilege, and a joy to echo, share, say it from the rooftops that there are so many amazing women running amazing businesses. And I'm just so grateful to be here with you and creating this.
Oh, I love it. So excited for what's to come. I envision us in like a wave RV, just driving around Canada. Be like, you're a
Sure.
woman in business? Come on in. Douse them with swag and love on them and promote them. So, yeah,
As long
lots
as
to
it's
come.
got a coffee barista portion where we serve coffee, sure. I love it.
Absolutely essential. Yes. Well, I can't wait. And people can stay tuned to our Wave for Women Instagram account for all the juicy details on what's coming up. And we just can't wait to invite you all to the next Wave activation.
Thanks for being here.